Okay, so I'm here and I am going live for your whatever live session you want to call this. Transformational Thursday. I'm thinking about calling our sessions live at 5 at this point, or live at 9. I don't know. We're going to see. As most of you know, we've been going through a lot of different changes here at the foundation. So we've been a little bit delayed in doing our next live, but I really work with my own self in all of that. I'm not so regimented that everything has to be perfect all the time. So for those of you who know me, you already know this about me, and you know that eventually I'm going to actually post the next thing or share the next thing or do the next thing because that's who I am, right? So here we are. So here is one of your live coaching sessions. And we may go back to our daily 15-minute, podcast thing that we were doing through most of the spring. But usually our summertime, we begin to plan for our fall and we map out things and we make major decisions during our summer because it's supposed to be a little bit slower so that we can make those major decisions and those major life changes and foundational changes. So that in itself is probably a little tidbit of help for you in your own journey with your own business or foundation or nonprofit. But I do have a couple more concrete things to hit home on this week. So one of them is, your first little thing is just take the time to be you, please, please. By allowing that and allowing the Holy Spirit to move through what you do, you actually re-energize everything around you. From your business to your nonprofit, whatever area you're in, to your relationships, and whatever's going on for you. So that's number one. Number two is for all of you who are going through a major difficult time right now, and believe me, we've also gone through them and we are still going through certain major difficult things. For anyone who is going through a major difficult time right now, remember that there's always goodness and opportunity in everything that's happening. Even when it may look like you don't know what's going on or something really disastrous or crazy is happening to you, remember that there's always an opportunity, a beautiful opportunity, and a beautiful way forward for you, and whatever that looks like. And there will be people there to support you and are people there to support you. That is one of the beautiful blessings, which we've tried to talk about over the last 2 to 3 lives. That's one of the beautiful blessings of humanity and other people and the way the spirit works. So allow yourself to release any of that negative, anything other people keep trying to put on you. Release it. Just release it from yourself. It's not you, it's them. That part is them. Even if you did like a small thing, or you may have messed something up, or they think you messed something up and you may not have actually messed something up, or they would have done it differently than you, or they are not you and they didn't have to make all the decisions that you had to make within the last however length of time, all of that. Just release all that, please, because all of that just creates more tension on every level for every single person, including yourself. Release it. Just release it. That That's one of the beautiful gifts of our humanity, that we can release that, and our divinity, the divinity that's present in us, to say, I release this. I don't have to hold on to this other person's attitude towards me. I don't have to hold on to their judgments about me. I don't have to hold on to the way other people have treated me throughout the last whatever. Release it. Just let it go. Let it go. So number 3 or number 4 is, this is kind of one of the rules I now go by. When I was younger, I would say I had difficulty with this, but because of the many things I've gone through in my own life, this is where I'm at and where I've been at for a long time now. And many business entrepreneurs and people who are CEOs and everything else will tell you the same thing. It doesn't matter what other people's opinions are of you. They are none of your business. And if they are constantly trying to tell you what they are still kind of none of your business. So I'm going to separate this out in 2 different ways for you. One is, if people are far more busy talking about you than to you, that's on them, not on you. That's an issue they have with themselves. Think about that. If they're so busy and more busy talking about you than to you, means nothing to you. Nothing. There's no glory flowing in that. There's no God's greater glory flowing in that. When people really care, when people really are being genuine, they will speak directly to you. That's how you know that they respect you, that they value you, that they care about you. They're not talking about you behind your back and complaining to you about complaining about you to everyone else, or saying things about you to everyone else and not saying anything to you about it. I have a special rule that I follow, which again, when I was in my teens, I kind of followed it, but didn't. And then in my 20s, I probably slid away from it. And now it's fully present again and has been for a very long time. If I ever have an issue with someone, or I have something to say about someone, I talk to that person about whatever it is. Isn't that earth-shattering? That is the way to approach something. If you are the person who is spending far more time talking about other people than actually talking to people about whatever the situation is that is bothering you, or something that upsets you, or that you think needs to be changed, you're not actually solving anything. Truly, in certain ways, you're not. And so the other piece to this is, you can do both, but first approach the person or topic that it's really about. Then other people if needed. And I'm saying that because I see things, given everything that we do, I see things all day long about this, and I literally say, thank you, God, that I don't do that anymore. And if I do, I'm not like fully conscious or aware of it. And I always try to, I think about, like at the end of my day, I think about, how much have I talked to this person versus talking about this person? If there's something that's really bothering me, how much have I talked to this person about this, or talked about this person about this? If you start evaluating that, you're going to know where you need the shifts and the changes. Even if the people don't respond to you, at least you tried to reach out. At least you tried to state what was true for you. At least you tried to speak with them about what was really on your heart about it. I'm not saying you have to do that right away either, because there is a point in taking a pause before you actually speak to a person if they make you upset, or if they do something that you don't agree with, or if you feel like they're always undermining your work or something like that, right? Or if you just feel that they're really unsupportive of you. Or if you are on the defensive and they actually haven't done something, or it's not the way that you perceive it to be, right? You can take a step back and reevaluate. And if you still think that same way, you can approach them with the topic and discuss it with them, right? And say something about it and address it. Whether you're wrong or whether you're right, in the end, what really matters is that you are actually stating what that is and working through what that is on whatever level. Working through it usually does not include going to everyone else first and complaining about it, or talking about them to everyone else and trying to make them look bad or whatever else, versus going to the person. And again, we see this dynamic in all areas of human existence, and in jobs in businesses, and jobs in corporate, and jobs in teaching, and jobs in politics, and family situations and family dynamics also. Like sometimes you do need to speak with somebody else before you go to your family and you say something, but you can always still say something to the family member after that. That's where the question that I ask myself is always important to ask yourself. How much time have I spent talking about this person versus talking to this person? You're wasting an awful lot of your time talking about them. You accomplish a lot more, and a lot more is done with positive energy when you actually speak with them and to them. Good, and if something upsets you. So both. So you can give praise to people too. Like you could be talking about someone and saying how good they are and everything else. And yes, that creates a ripple effect, a good ripple effect and everything. But it's also much better to actually tell that person how you really feel and what you really think, and to really express that to them as well, not just to everybody else. It's the other piece. So just like when you're really thankful for someone and what they've done, tell them thank you, send them a thank you note. Show them that appreciation and that gratitude. You can say it to other people too, but they probably need to hear it more from you than from everyone else. If you're feeling it, they're probably needing to hear it from you more than anyone else. So that's a whole other dynamic. Another thing, my point number 5, drawing to the close of my video. My 5th little tidbit for this week is do not be discouraged and rise yourself above it, whatever it is, because we've seen so many different dynamics this week. People have lost their jobs. People have been betrayed. People have gone, had to feel like they've had to defend themselves against different things. People have lost their housing or places to live, or have been threatened with it. We've seen people resign, right? Or people totally abandoned by all of their friends or all of their support system. So many different issues coming up, people having issues with their children, right? Bring yourself into a mind space or heart space to rise above it. And if you don't find you can get there, reach out. That's why we are here, right? That's why our programs, some of our programs actually exist. The beauty is in that you rise above it, that you are looking at the newness, the freshness, the gift present. Or a new way to figure out an old problem or an extended problem or something that's gone on for a long time or a short time. That's part of the beauty and the grace of the moment, and part of the beauty and the grace of also what we do. It's taking that situation and seeing that situation in a whole new way. For you to live on purpose and with deeper meaning. And to say yes to what truly brings you joy and fills you and everyone else with love around you. That is the biggest gift. And that is part of living your life on purpose and with meaning. And we will be offering a special masterclass or training thing in this area of purpose and meaning, because it's a really important thing that a lot of people overlook, or they think that what is giving their life purpose and meaning, what they think it is, actually isn't what gives it purpose and meaning. And their priorities are askew, right? Or need to be a little bit redirected and realigned. So making sure that there isn't anything else. Allow yourself to be surprised by the beauty and the grace of what that looks like. And it always leads to something even more wonderful, more full of joy and more full of love. So the last piece is, don't keep yourself stuck. Allow yourself to rise above it and lean in. Lean in to that piece of love. Lean into that opportunity or opening. Lean into the grace of what that looks like, even when it feels a little complex or complicated. And don't be afraid to actually state to other people what is happening and what is going on. That's part of leaning into it. Leaning into the love and leaning into the opportunity and the path, right? That's part of it. And I can give you another really short story in relation to our part of my own. I mean, we've gone through a lot, but we're still going through a lot, but this one's kind of fun. So I'll give you a fun one, not like a really crazy one. And I've talked about it in different videos too in the past, but not very much in detail. So the boys have to take their driver's tests, and both of them have been afraid to take them, or like thinking about taking them. And I say that because they have seen me drive. They know how I drive. I drive very well. But there has been, one, I would say like a major accident that they a winter accident that they were in with me. And that kind of threw them into a loop of, I don't know if I want to learn how to drive. I don't know if I'm going to be able to drive. I don't know, like there was fear in it. It was just fear. And now they're moving forward into, they can take the driver's ed test and course and all of that, and move past that fear. So it's really about leaning into that deeper joy and that deeper love and the opportunity that's present there. Letting go of all of the other stuff that really isn't that. That's a facade, or that tries to make you feel otherwise, like in their case, it would be more comfortable for them not to learn how to drive, and they wouldn't have to actually move past that piece. And now they're moving into excitement about taking the exam and studying for it and preparing for it and what that looks like and planning that out and putting that on their calendar and going in for the test date. And then the next step of that and knowing what the next step is and all of that. So it's very beautiful for me to see at this point in time, and the conversations were difficult to have with them at some points, but they were had. And I am grateful and I'm thankful for every single one of those. I'm grateful and thankful for every single experience I've had in the car with them and driving them and pointing things out to them and teaching them about, this is what this does, or this is what you should do here, or this is where it gets really complex or complicated in a drive, or all of those conversations that we've had so many times. So step into that beauty and that grace and embrace it. Just embrace it, because when you do, everything will flourish. Even if it doesn't look like it right now. It's an illusion. It's an illusion. So own it and embrace it and move into the beauty and the grace that's present now. I'm going to leave you with that. Reach out to us through our Transformational monthly coaching program if you want to go into a deeper dive, or there's our one-to-one transformational coaching program if you need one-on-one intensive to work through something, whatever it is that you're going through, multiple goals that you have, dreams that you have, or if something has happened that you really need to work through, wrap your mind around and try to overcome, or something you're really trying to accomplish, or maybe you're just you feel like you're out of your elements and you're trying to get back into feeling more like you. Feel free to reach out. We are here for you. And as always, we look forward to speaking with you and helping you to rise above whatever that is and living your life on purpose and with meaning, in a beautiful, grace-filled way where you have deeper love and joy present. All right. Ciao, everybody.